Thanks for joining us for another Kickstarter conniption. Today we're previewing the game Canopy from Weird City Games.
And as always, we want to make sure that you're aware that our Kickstarter conniption videos are sponsored in part by our Kickstarter backers and by the creators of this game. So thanks for joining us at Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Will Meadows.
And I'm Sara Meadows, and today we're previewing the game Canopy from Weird City Games. This is from designer Tim Eisner and art by Vincent Dutre.
This is a two-player tableau-building game that takes about 20 to 30 minutes to play. We were able to get a hold of a prototype copy, so let's take a look at how it's played.
To set up the game, lay out the season tracker and new growth boards and divide the cards into 3 equal decks.
Place 1 card in the first column, 2 in the second, and 3 in the third. Then shuffle the seed cards and place them and all of the tokens nearby. If you're playing with the advanced variant, make sure the season cards are nearby as well.
Give each player their turn overview card and determine a start player, and then you're ready to begin.
On their turn, players will get to look at all the cards in the first column. They may take the stack or add 1 card to the column and look at the second stack. If they choose this stack, they keep the cards and add them to their tableau. Otherwise, they add a card and proceed to the third.
If they do not wish to keep the third stack, they may add a card and then draw 1 card from the deck to play for their turn.
The cards players keep will be used to build out their jungle. They may add wildlife, plants, or trees, each scoring in a different way.
Trees with completed canopies will be scored once at the end of the round they are completed in. So this tree would earn 2, 3, 5, and there are 3 cards times 2 for the canopy, which is 6 plus 5, so 11 points.
Once all the cards in the stack have been played, the round ends.
Players may have to discard cards from their tableau if they manage to claim too much disease or fire.
And they may get to draw from the seed deck if they've gathered any cards with seeds on them.
Then players tally their points. There is a bonus granted each round for the tallest tree.
For the next round, only the player's trees and wildlife will remain. Everything else is discarded, and then the next 2 rounds play in the same manner.
At the very end of the game, the player with the largest forest of trees will get an extra bonus. Then, players tally their total scores to see who is able to build the best jungle under the canopy.
Canopy is a beautiful little 2-player tableau building game where each player will be building out their own rainforest. They'll be building pretty much every part of that because they'll be laying cards for sun and rain at the top, and then the canopy of the trees, and then below that they'll be playing all their wildlife and plant cards.
On your turn, you will choose one of those stacks, pressure luck style. So if you'll look at the first pile of cards, and if you don't want it, you'll have to remember that I'm leaving this for the other player with an additional card. So you'll need to decide if you're going to leave those cards. Sometimes there's things like disease or drought where you would want to leave them for the other player. And then whichever pile you do decide to keep, you can't go back to the first pile if you've passed it up. Whichever one you keep, you'll add those cards to your tableau. Those cards that have the trunk and base of the tree, you'll keep adding to 1 tree. You can be working on more than 1 tree at one time, but any trees that you put that canopy top on, you will score that round and you can't add any more to them. If you do happen to gain a canopy card and you don't have any trees to put it on, then it is lost. So it's kind of a wasted card.
Yeah, and those cards feel pretty limited in the game,
Yeah,
so
are.
Every time they came up, I was like, oh, I really got to have a tree to put this on. The plants in the game are all set collection point values, so you may have ones where every other, like, odd numbered cards will get you points, but if you collect even numbers of cards at the end of the round, you don't get any points. They may also grant you a lot of points if you get a bunch of them, or negative points if you gain too many. So that's where the push your luck part really comes in. Like, do I want to get stuck with this extra card I don't need at the end of the round? And then those wildlife cards, they're going to grant you like abilities. So they might give you the ability to look at a stack of cards before you take it later down, or they might give you the chance to pull 2 cards off the draw deck if you go through the whole stack and don't need any. So those can be really handy each round of the game as well.
Yeah, the strategy really comes in at the end of the round because you keep playing until all the cards have been taken. So that last couple, there won't be cards added, and you'll really have to be picky and choosy which stacks you get, because there is the fire card. If you get 2 or more, then you'll have to discard some of the cards in your forest. If you get the drought, same thing happens with those.
Right, and the interesting thing actually is if you get too many of those, like you can even be the other player and not want to get them, or not want to stick the other guy with them, because if you get like 3 or more of those cards, then your fire actually spreads and affects the other player as well, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, definitely push your luck. Definitely some memory going on too, because you're trying to remember, this stack, she didn't take it last time, and now I know there's a canopy in there, but I don't have a tree, and so do I keep going? So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff, and then you wipe it all away to start over for the next round of the game.
Yeah, Vincent Dutray did some beautiful artwork for this one. It has some gorgeous wildlife and plants in the game. It will take up quite a bit of table space, but it's only a 2-player game, so you could play on a smaller size table playing across from one another.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of curious why it's a 2-player game. I'll be interested to see if that changes with Kickstarter goals, because I definitely feel like you could play more players. We haven't tried that out, so I don't know. You should definitely check out their campaign, though. The artwork for here, the illustrations are pretty finished, but like card backs and things like that, this is all prototype, so be aware that there will be some changes. We also didn't mention like the season cards, which are an advanced variant, and that will kind of change the way that each round is played in the game, too.
If this sounds like something you're interested in, you can check out the Kickstarter page and check out Weird City Games, and be sure to check out our other videos and subscribe to Tantrum House.
A tableau-building game that takes about 20 to 30 minutes to play. People were kind enough to send us a copy. Who? Weird City Games. Weird City Games. They're building out their own little jungle. Was there another word for it? Jungle?
Rainforest?
Rainforest. Let's call it that.
The top on that tree, the top part.
Like every other plant will score you points, or the philodendrons. Philodendrons.
Trying to wait and see what might be in those later piles. Let's start over. I'm just rambling.
Got it.
Great ending.
Yep. Good job. Nailed it. Perfect. There it is. Go back it.